It's Monday. I hope everyone is rested and well. My name is Svetelina and I am moderating today's webinar on Study UK. Today we're here at universities. That would be Aston University with Christina Dimova, University of Bath with Susan Garrett, and London South Bank University with Andrei Petre. Today, we are hosting this webinar from 4 different countries. We will be in the UK, Romania, Bulgaria, and Portugal. So we are equally curious where everyone is joining us from today. So as you might have noticed, there is a chat on the right-hand side of the screen. Let us know when you guys are waking up from. And this is where you can ask us questions during the entire time of the webinar. It will take approximately 50 minutes, after which we will proceed to answering all the questions you have asked us. So make sure you're with us throughout this approximately 1 hour, and we're here to help. We will start now with talking a little bit about UK as a study destination, the main topics that we would like to cover, and then we'll hear from the 3 universities. So I'm passing the word to Andrei from London South Bank, who will introduce us today to why study in the UK. Hi, Andrei. Good morning. Bună dimineața.
Bună dimineața. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so I'm Andrea, I'm from London South Bank, and let's see why you guys should come to the UK in general, and then we'll talk to you about our individual universities. So first off, the UK is an amazing place. You can study so many different things. I know that in my own country, like in Romania, we don't have that many options, but 30,000 the undergraduate courses are available for you in the UK. So it's an amazingly diverse place where you can genuinely learn whatever you want to learn at the highest quality. The degrees are recognized globally, so you can go anywhere from there. You don't necessarily have to stay in the UK afterwards, although many people do. There's high employability rates because the degrees are also very valuable and people tend to respect them a lot. There's high completion rate, so people do. It's not like those horrible American movies where you see people dropping out of Harvard because it's too difficult and the professors are out to get you or to make you mentally unstable. There's actually a lot of support for students, and the environment is much friendlier and very conducive to you guys studying and learning properly. Okay, so there's that. Just to get this out of the way, Brexit fees for the moment, European Union fees still apply. So you can still access the student loan if you're studying, if you're going to start in September. And it's still £9,250 if you're in the EU now. However, for what's going to happen next, we don't really know yet. We're waiting for the UK government to figure out what they're going to do. They've been a bit busy with the whole COVID thing, so it might take them a little while longer, but we will announce you what's going to happen the moment when we find out. There's no way you guys can miss this if you're joining us from the EU. Okay. About how to apply, it's mainly via this website called ucas.com. You're going to have to put your personal statement in there. You're also going to need a reference from one of your professors and some other random data, like where do you live, what's your name, some like your grades and your English scores. And this is just a website that's very easy to use, very friendly, especially if you get some help. But yeah. Okay, so you should be fine with that. Our response to COVID, like each individual university does something that's a little bit different, but most universities are planning to still welcome students in September and October, depending on the university. Now, obviously, there will be increased measures. There will be extra soap, extra masks, something, depending on the university. There will be online learning for students that cannot make the travel, that can't actually come and visit because either they're in the risk category or their country hasn't opened their borders yet or anything like that. So we are going to be flexible as on a whole, like not only London South Bank, but everybody. because we do want to keep the UK multicultural experience happening for you guys, so you still come study in the same kind of place. And we are flexible on entry criteria. You will find this on each individual university's website. We have started looking at different English exams, so you'll see that certain universities accept online exams as well. We do, and I'm sure other people do as well. But again, more on that depending on each university. So we'll talk to you about that a bit later. Okay. Now I'm gonna give the word to the next speaker, and I think it is Christina from Aston. Thank you.
Beautiful
Ready?
Canoe
I
is
think we've got a video here.
Beautiful
and
Canoe
then
is
we're
a
gonna hear from
student-powered
you.
enterprise at Aston. It is a software house that delivers software for clients. It's really unique because it gives students the opportunity to work on real projects for real clients. They would be working on the software development, they'll be working on analysing the requirements, delivering the software to the clients. We encourage students to lead client meetings. It really gives them an edge because it means that they've got that practical experience of delivering software at the qualities needed to be put into practice by a client. It also gives them the experience of working with clients and understanding what clients want from their work, which is something quite unique. And as good as we can make coursework, we can't ever make the experience as real as the real thing. We've got lots of cases of students who've worked with companies through Beautiful Canoe getting jobs and placements out of that experience. Beautiful Canoe has been running for around 7 years now. We've supported and worked with hundreds of students over that time and dozens of clients. And it's really great actually to see that start to grow now. It's been recognised through the Institute of Coding that Beautiful Canoe is fairly unique in what it does, and what we're doing is we're partnering with other universities around the country to use Beautiful Canoe as a model for other student-powered enterprises in other universities.
So hi again. I didn't get a chance to switch on my camera at the beginning. Welcome everyone. My name is Christina. I am the representative of Aston University, which is located in Birmingham. And I'm here today to give you a general overview of what Aston is about, where we are, give you more information about our campus, the kind of courses that we do, and then tell you why Aston is more unique than some other universities. I've chosen to show you this video at the beginning because it shows one of the commitments that we're making to our students, and that's the innovation in our teaching. So we truly believe that the best way for students to experience the subject they're studying is for them to have as many hands-on elements incorporated into their teaching as possible. And that might include patients' contact, even from first year, where applicable. It might include recreating a business environment on campus through software. So students get to work in teams, fulfilling different roles depending on the kind of subject they've chosen. So one of them could be the marketing officer, the other one could be the operations manager, and so on. The outstanding research that we deliver is also very important. We have a very international faculty. More than 40% of them are coming from different countries. And the people doing the research are also the people doing the teaching. So students have a direct contact with our research experts. We're also very committed to excellence in employability. And we have a careers and placements team, a dedicated team comprised of more than 50 people. These are the people who would be helping students with their CVs. They would help them with example interviews so that they can develop skills that would help them to find a job after they graduate. And more about how we started. We were founded in 1895 as a technical school. This is where all this commitment to hands-on practical degrees comes from. And we gained our university status in 1966. We have about 13,000 students, the majority of them undergraduate, and they're coming from more than 120 countries. So it's a very multicultural international environment. This is one of the reasons I chose to study at Aston. I'm an Aston alumna, and I was an international student like yourselves. So here on this screen, I wanted to tell you a bit more about Birmingham and why I chose Birmingham in particular as well. You can see some numbers on the screen, which throughout the course of this particular slide would start to make sense. And I would like to play a little game with you. You've got the chat option there. If some of these start to make sense, please use the chat box and let me know what your guess is. So Birmingham is a very multicultural environment as a whole. It's the second most populous city in the country after London, but that shouldn't put you off because the standard of living is still relatively cheap. I've always lived in the city center of Birmingham where the university is located, and I've always managed to afford it by working part-time. And because it's so multicultural, it has a variety of international cuisines, events that you can go to. We have large music venues attracting international artists. We had Beyonce a few years ago. I always mention Beyonce because I'm a big fan. We've got several train stations located in the city center that students have access to within a 10-minute walking distance from campus. And they would give you access to the major cities in the UK. So if you enjoy traveling, you can see Birmingham there on the map. It's in the very center of the UK. And I enjoy traveling. I could use the international airport that's in Birmingham and travel to many destinations in Europe directly. And also, as I've mentioned, because it's in the city center, very close to big cities like Manchester, Liverpool, London, Bristol, Cardiff. So if you've got family in those, it's very, very easy to travel. And the city would be the host of the Commonwealth Games in anytime soon. So if you have any guesses, please let me know in the chat box there, and then I can come back at the end of the presentation to let you know the right answers. Going on to the next slide, more about the university and where the university is located. On the right, you can see the whole campus. The orange buildings are what's part of the campus. The main building is where all the teaching happens. The accommodation halls, you can see there, the library, the sports center, everything is within 5-minute walk distance. And this is another reason why I chose Aston, because everything is so compact and so close together. As an international student, it was important for me, everything to be close by. But I also wanted to enjoy the dynamics that a big city offers. So you can see on the left side, this is how the triangle, the campus, relates to the city center. You can see the New Street station is in the very bottom on the left, and this is only 10-minute walking distance. And from there, you've got a 10-minute train journey to the airport. So a very good communicative spot. And what else? Let me see what I'm missing. Anything more about our facilities that we've got on campus. You can see we've got in the sports center a swimming pool, a sauna, a steam bath. We've got more than 100 gym stations. We've got there in the middle on the top, you can see some of our common rooms. So many spaces for students to socialize. And on the bottom on the right, you can see our accommodation rooms. They're all very modern, very well furnished. They're all en suite. So this means that you only need to share the kitchen with the other students, and you've got your own bathroom, own toilet. Bills are included. You don't need to worry about those in your first year because accommodation is guaranteed for international students. And the costs average around £140 per week. And in the middle, at the bottom, you can see the library. The library, again, very well furnished. They do some sort of refurbishing every single year. And again, space for socializing, but also space for individual and group study for everyone. And in terms of the courses that we offer, we've got 5 different schools, and in each of them, there are different courses. Some of them are also very good at delivering joint honors degrees, which means that you can basically incorporate business and international relations into one. We've got the business school, which is triple accredited, and we've got some popular courses such as business and management and accounting and finance, who are very well ranked in the QS international rankings. And me, myself, I studied human resources management in the business school. We've got languages and social sciences, the engineering school, the life and health sciences, courses such as neuroscience and optometry are very, very popular. And we've got the medicine school. So entry criteria would vary. We do accept the International Baccalaureate diploma, which I believe is the majority of what we've got here on the call. And these might be 29 points for some of our engineering courses. They could be 31 points for some of our business courses. And for medicine, we ask for 35 points. If you've got individual entry criteria requirements from a particular country, I can give you the answers at the end if you just write a question in the chat box. And these are the kind of facilities that you can expect to see. Again, we're investing a lot into delivering hands-on experience for students. You can see all the pictures here I've put down is something interactive, something with other students, something that you do with the professors. So we do have the lectures where you would still need to listen to someone talking, but we've also got tutorials and practice rooms where you get to experience what you're studying. And talking about gaining the edge, what I mean by this is the biggest reason why I chose Aston. And this is the placement year. For those of you who haven't heard what the placement year is, this is an integrated year into your course at undergraduate level, which extends a typical 3-year course to a 4-year course. And the placement year normally happens in the 3rd year. So how it works is you study on campus for the first 2 years. The 3rd year, you have the opportunity to go somewhere outside of campus. And then the final year, you come back and study on campus again. So the placement year has 2 different versions. You can choose to do a work placement, which is what I have chosen to do. And this means that you can work in industry with relation to your course. And the university has more than 50 years of experience in placing students in jobs. This is the more popular choice because it is paid. In the UK, it's very popular for employers to hire placement students, and the salaries average around £16,000 per year. And I've worked at Airbus, where they are doing commercial aircraft. In the UK, they build all the wings for their fleet. And this was probably the best experience that I've had from my degree, because not only I've got to see those incredible products, but also because I've met some very knowledgeable people. And I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do after I graduated. I chose this course because I basically did like a professional orientation course. I wasn't as lucky as probably some of you to have a counselor guiding me in the school of what I can choose and what could be the career opportunities after I graduate. So the placement year gave me that exposure to different areas of human resources. And after I graduated, I've decided that I need to go and do recruitment. So that's about the work placement. And then we've got the another option, which is the study placement. And this is an opportunity for you to study abroad at one of the partner institutions of the university. So here you can see just a selection of some of our partners. And it depends on the kind of course you chose, but we have more than 80 partners across 5 different continents you see here, and some very renowned names across the world as well. Something I forgot to mention about the work placements, the careers and placements team, they organize employability fairs on campus, where employers get to come and speak to our students, tell them more about the companies, how they need to apply, and what you can expect. So I think that's about from me. I'm not sure whether we've got time to actually come back to the game, but if we do have time later on, I'm going to give you the right answers. So now I just want to invite you to an event that we're hosting next week. It's called Aston Live, and it's a week-long event of online activities that is free of charge, and you can come and join us online. Thank you very much. And that's it from me. I'm going to now hand over to the video that we're going to see from the University of Bath and my colleagues too. Thank you.
I knew for a fact that I wanted to come here, and I just knew it was where I wanted to be.
I think I fell in love with Bath from the first time I visited it. On an open day, I fell in love with Bath itself as a place, and then I fell in love with the campus.
The city is so beautiful and the campus just felt like home from day one.
I couldn't have imagined going somewhere else. I am glad doesn't even begin to describe it.
I've made some of my best friends here. I've met people from so many different backgrounds here.
Yeah, I am one of those people where university has changed my life.
Our campus has spirit because the students bring spirit to the campus.
Hi guys, I'm Tony. I'm a final year psychology student here at the University of Bath.
I'm Marcus.
Hi, I'm Dana.
I came here and I just absolutely loved the atmosphere. I thought it was just a fantastic place to be.
I've got friends and experiences that will live with me for life.
Having a campus experience is beautiful. You have all your friends around you and you get familiar with the campus. You start to really just love it.
It really feels like a hub where everybody is furthering academia and sort of working together, and I think that really shows.
It's a fantastic place to broaden your horizons.
If you put your heart and soul into the degree and to Bath, you will get everything back and you will absolutely love it here.
Uni goes by so quickly. Spend time with your friends, do things that make you happy, and don't sweat the little things, you know?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sue. I work here at University of Bath. Well, I say here, I'm actually at home at the moment. So you're seeing a picture of the campus as it is, and I'm going to show you a lot more of the campus too. You've seen my little film. So you get a sense of us being slightly different to Aston in being a countryside campus university, really, next to a very beautiful city. So if any of you've been to the city of Bath, you'll know that we are really a wonderful place to live and experience student life. So this is a picture of our campus from the air. So you can see we're in a lovely green area, and just at the top right of your slide there, you'll see that that is the actual city of Bath. So we're a much smaller city than somewhere like London or Birmingham or even Bristol, our near neighbour. We have a very small, friendly city which allows you to get really involved with student life and with the campus. The great thing about the campus university is that it gives you that experience of really easily meeting new people and getting involved with student life, but also all of those facilities are on hand for you. And you can see in our picture there that on the bottom left, you've got a sports training village, you've got your teaching space there, your accommodation just on the bottom right. So it really is all in one site, a beautiful site on a hill at the very edge of the city of Bath. So where is Bath? Well, we are in the southwest. We are an hour and a half from London on the train. We are close to Bristol Airport, which does serve most areas of Europe. So it's pretty well connected with many EasyJet flights, Ryanair, other airlines that fly through the local airport, which is only half an hour away. And then if you do want to go to London, obviously London is a great city. I used to work there and at London School of Economics, right in the centre of the city. And I love London. But Bath was a place that gave that kind of peace that you get outside of a city, but the chance to be able to go back up to the City of London anytime you like. So it's a really nice mix between city life and that small community experience you get in a smaller historic city like Bath. And as you can see from some of the accolades on the slide, we are highly ranked in the UK and in the globe. And I'll talk a little about that as we go through, but just giving you a sense of where we are. So one of the things that I'm particularly proud of working at Bath is our chance for students to really excel in terms of where they go from us and where they go and work. So we're 5th in the UK for graduate prospects and 4th for employment after 6 months in the 2 main rankings in the UK. What that means is that you are very likely to get a professional or managerial job after you have left the University of Bath because of the kind of learning that we offer, and because also, like Aston, we offer fantastic placements. But it's not just about the work, it's not just about the study, it's obviously about your experience of being a student. And I'm very proud to say that we are always very high on student survey rankings for student experience. So that means we take into account at the National Student Survey at the end of every year, every part of a student's experience. And you can look up that data for any university you're looking at and see what students feel about the accommodation, the learning experience, the social life, the accommodation, so many things that you can check on that. And it's a good way to check the things that are important to you. So what can we offer you at Bath? Well, we are a middle-sized university, I would say, for the UK at about 18,000 students. One thing that's great for you to know if you're looking for undergraduate courses is that you are on a largely undergraduate campus. So most of our students, 74%, are undergraduate students, and that does really feed into the student life and make sure that you're part of a great community that are very committed to that student life at undergraduate level. And it makes it much easier to sort of fit in when you're all on one campus and all studying in a similar way. Obviously, we do have postgraduate students. We really value all of the work and research they do, and we work with our postgraduates in terms of research projects, even if you are an undergraduate. And you might be able to tell from the little wheel there, we have only a small number of subjects. So there may be some subjects we don't offer, like history or medicine, I'm afraid. We're well known for engineering and design in particular, because that's how we started in Bristol in the 60s as an engineering school, and then moved to build our new campus, new in the 60s, in the city of Bath. So we now cover a whole range of subjects under engineering and design, humanities and social sciences, so well known for things like psychology and sports science, economics, and languages. And then we have a world-class school of management that you've probably heard of as well. And finally, I noticed a few of you are looking at science subjects. Our science faculty is a very broad science faculty, including maths and natural science, which is not offered at very many universities across the UK, and is a really great way to keep on all of your sciences. But it will also include things like pharmacy and pharmacology, as well as biomedical sciences, for those of you who are not sure if you want to go down the medicine route. So those are some examples of courses. I'll show you a couple more in a moment. Just to say, we mainly don't offer combined degrees, but we do have some cross-faculty courses. So if you are a strong mathematician wanting to take economics with maths, you can do so. If you want to take management with a language, you can do so. So there are a number of courses, as you'll see from our prospectus, which allow you to bring together two disciplines. We've created a course that allows you to have complementary subjects together. And around a third of our students actually come from outside of the UK. I'm really proud to represent Bath in Europe. So my area is Europe, and I'm normally traveling. I should have been in Paris today, but hey, this is how it works out. I'm talking to you from our loft room, but I'm going to be out there again in the autumn, hopefully. And I'm really happy that we have such a high number of European students, a higher percentage than many universities in the UK. We represent 130 nationalities on campus in Bath, and obviously have students from all over the globe. Here's a little list of our subjects. I'm not going to go into them in great detail because obviously you've got the chance here to download the prospectus and have a look at entry requirements, and we've got some time to chat online at the end about any specifics on those. But you can see we have a varied list of courses that hopefully will appeal across the board. And remember, if you are looking at presenting to us or applying to us with an IB, that qualification is fantastic for applying to Bath, and we really, really welcome it. We've had IB conferences here over many years, and we will always be looking for that complete applicant who has many things that the IB and so many other qualifications can offer us. So the entry requirements are all online in detail by country, and the IB levels, which are a set 36 for all courses, but with different higher levels, are available too. Now, why would you look at Bath in terms of our standing in the UK? Well, we have a lot of courses that are ranked top in the UK. So we're normally looking at subjects that are ranked in the top 5 for most subjects and most departments. But honestly, most of our courses you're going to find high in the rankings. And what that means is employers understand that you are going to a top university and getting learning when you graduate. They will see that Bath is on your CV and it will help you. But it's really also about the quality of the teaching teaching, the quality of the learning, the quality of the experience that you have on campus. And just as we were hearing from Aston, professional work placements, I also feel really strongly about. And again, like Aston, we have always had placement support. We are second in the UK for placement support, with nearly 70% of our students actually taking that year-long placement. And again, that chance to work for a company, a global company, potentially for a whole year as a quarter of your degree in your third year. So you can also do study abroad. We have many international partners where you can become involved in a different university across 26 different countries, those exchange opportunities for a whole year in placement, or potentially you can do half a year studying abroad and half a year doing a work placement. The reason we're so flexible and those choices are so wide is because we have dedicated placement support teams in every single department. So you don't have to find these work opportunities. We will find them with you, and we will make sure you get something that really interests you, is at a professional level, and actually gives you a chance to work in the kind of company you're interested in. So maybe you want to work for Microsoft or Disney or L'Oreal, who have a lot of our students both in London and Paris, or maybe you just want to work for a charitable organization or a small startup company. The choice will absolutely be yours, and we will support you in whichever direction you go. So I'd really urge you, if you're looking at our courses, to check out those placement opportunities. So back to the campus, how we manage our campus is that we provide everything that you can hopefully have to manage without leaving the campus if you don't want to, but you definitely want to go into the city of Bath because it's beautiful. So there's a list of some of the facilities that we have there, and I'm very proud that we are one of the safest campuses in the UK, and that really does give some reassurance when you're leaving home. And most of our students will live on that campus, so 75% of our first year students live on campus, with the remainder living towards the bottom of the hill next to the campus, which gives you a chance to either choose to live near the city or live on the campus with those facilities. But if you apply to us as your first choice through UCAS, you will be guaranteed one of our halls of residence, which are a range of options. Some small standard rooms where you are not paying such a high rent, up to a double ensuite room. So really the choice is yours. You can have catering, you can have non-catered accommodation, you can have a mix of catered and using the catering facilities in your hall. So very much your choice, and the range of cost is between around £4,500 per year up to, if you were having a double ensuite with meals, maybe £7,500 a year. So it's a choice that you will make according to your budget and your preferences. And once you're here, you're not left to just survive. You will obviously have the support that the university environment can give you there on campus. We have a service centre, student services centre, which provides free counselling and support. So things like counselling, exam stress sessions are a very common part of their support programme, but individual advice on anything that's concerning you, such as money advice, housing advice, disability advice. So if you're dyslexic, we'll give you plenty of support. And you also obviously academically have personal support, so you'll have your own tutor, and we have things like a math support centre if you're coming to engineering and you want that bit of extra support with your maths. But all students can learn languages and get that extra support if they're interested. So if you've heard of a student union, you'll know that in the UK, a student union is a place that represents students on campus. And at the moment, obviously, we've got a lot of campaigning going on a range of issues in the UK and in the globe, in fact, particularly this week. So our education officer is actually a Black Somali student who's very involved with making sure that the campus recognises any of the unconscious bias that goes on in terms of the provision that we make here at Bath. So there are really important roles within the student union to change the student experience that you can get involved with if you want to represent your university. But for most of you, what the student union will be is the place where you go and have fun, you go and use the cafes and bars, and you go along to join student union clubs and societies where you can get involved with anything from salsa dancing to skateboarding to our economic society that works with banks and schools in the local area. So all sorts of things. And obviously, because we're a very sport-based university in terms of our facilities, every kind of sports club that you can imagine. So that's something that we're really proud of. We've had an award for our professional student union as well. And I mentioned the sports training village. I'm going to flick through a couple of pictures of the facilities that we've got. We do have an Olympic pool, but sport is offered at all levels. So you do not have to be swimming at an Olympic level to use that pool. You can use every part of the sports training village for free. The only part you would pay for is the gym, which is fantastic, and obviously is at a reduced rate for students. So that free sports pass allows you to try any kind of new sport that you might be interested in. And if you are actually a sports person at a professional level, we have something called our dual career program, which allows you to marry your sports career with your degree, make sure you have the coaching and support you need and the flexibility of your degree to potentially become an Olympian or succeed at a national level in your sport. So that's something that we can organise here on campus too. And Team Bath, the sign there, they're the organisation that have all of that information and some of the scholarships for sports students that you might be interested in. And some of you might recognise what's that in that picture. It might look more recognisable with snow on it. It's actually a skeleton bob start track that's on the campus. So you really, really can get involved in all sorts of different kinds of sports. And I mentioned earlier, we don't do every subject that you might be interested in. And I know some of you may be great musicians or artists and you want to continue that alongside your degree. Okay, you can't study it at our university, but you certainly can get involved because we have an amazing arts centre, which includes 2 theatres and design centres and a gallery and the music studios that you might want. And finally, back to my lovely city of Bath. Obviously, as I said, I moved from London. I love London, but honestly, I could not imagine living anywhere else now. Bath really does have the best of both worlds, a beautiful, historic city that people visit from all over the world, but also a really vibrant student life. So we have 2 universities in the city of Bath, so a quarter of the city's population are students. So it means that you will be in a really vibrant student community, even though you're not in the largest city. But if you do want to pop up to London, it really is close by on the train, and you've got that Bristol airport and also Heathrow not too far away. So it really does make it very, very easy to get involved with maybe a larger gig. We have never had Beyonce. I'm so jealous, Aston. But obviously, if you want to go to London to go and see some of the larger galleries and things like that, you can do it in a day. It really is possible from London and from Bristol to London. I will do that, and Bath from London. So honestly, it's about choosing the right environment for you. And I'm hoping some of you will, obviously, once COVID has died down, have a chance to come and visit us and see our beautiful campus for yourself. It really is a very welcoming place. And I'd love to meet you on campus or in your country or in school sometime soon. And finally, just to say, we're also considered the 2nd safest university city in England and the 2nd safest UK university. So very happy for those stats. It really is very reassuring. I'm a parent of 2 daughters myself who went to university. It certainly would have been an important part of our choices looking at that, and it did come into play. So you really will be having that supported experience in Bath, as well as that great learning and the chance to spread your wings and go on placement somewhere else during your 3rd year. Just very quickly on the applications, I mentioned the IB is a qualification that we have a lot of respect for, but we do understand and respect all qualifications from all over the globe. We make it very clear on our website by country which qualifications we're looking for. If you don't see your country appear on that list, you would need to contact our admissions department, but we are very happy to accept applications from all over the globe from strong students who can tell us in their personal statement why they are right for University of Bath. We are competitive, so we're looking at around 28,000 applications for 3,000 places. So you have to be focused, but honestly, even for our most competitive courses like architecture, we're still making those strong students offers, and it's not as competitive as it might sound by our entry grade. So most courses, we are making offers to around 50 to 85% of applicants. So if you are at the level of predicted grades we're looking for, we will be considering you as long as you do a good overall application with us. So don't be put off by the high entry requirements, which, as you've heard, will be flexible, certainly this year because of what's happened with COVID-19, and also in terms of any other impact that you might have. So do get in touch with us if you've got any questions about that, and we'll talk about it later on the chat anyway. That's my final slide, and I am going to pass you back to Andre, who's finishing off with his presentation on South Bank, and chat with you later. Thank you so much.
The minute I stepped foot into LSBU, I felt like I was at home. They welcomed me. This was where I belonged. Well, my name is Namaz Chaudhry, and I'm from Bangladesh. I've transferred over to London South Bank University, and I'm studying law.
Hi, I'm Daily. I'm from Enshi City, Hubei province in China, and now I'm an MA journalism student here.
My name is Rodrigo, and I'm from São Paulo in Brazil, and I've chosen to come to LSBU as it's a very good reputation for engineering.
International students make a significant contribution to the ethos and atmosphere at LSBU. They play a key part in the university and help create the culture and environment of diversity that we crave and seek.
LSBU is very diverse, and it's something that I really embrace, I really like. It gives me a wider view of different cultures, it gives me a higher respect for other cultures, and I think it broadens your mind more. It makes you richer as a person.
It gives me a more broadened perspective of people in general, understanding where they've come from and how they've got here, and I think that's one of the best things I've learned while I've been here.
It gives you a good hands-on experience to work with people from diverse cultures.
Given the importance we associate with those students, we provide a range of bursaries and financial support. The International Office provides a range of advice and support for all our international students.
The International Student Advice Team at London South Bank University is here to support international students from the point of offer all the way to the very end of the course at graduation.
The one thing that I really loved about coming into LSBU is how easily I transitioned. I think it was the ease of my transitioning into LSBU from Bangladesh that really allowed me to feel at home, that I wasn't going to miss anything.
LSBU offers the students a great opportunity.
Hi everyone, I'm back. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about London South Bank. So as just off the top, it's got nothing to do with any bank. It's because London South Bank is on the south bank of the River Thames, so it's very, very close to the center, but we'll get to that later. Just to give you guys a bit of an overview of who we are. So we've been a university for the past 126 years. We're forward-thinking, we're professionally focused, we're very, very diverse. It was fun because BAF said that they had 140 countries represented. We have the exact same number, which is amusing. We have around 18,000 students, out of which 2,000 are from overseas. Overseas means like further away, and there's like lots of British people, lots of European Union people that don't come into that. But the campus is very, very diverse. So you can make friends from all over the place that you can after university or during university. I know that this was like my favorite thing, going to the countries of the people that I made friends with at university and then visiting them. So I could stay at their house and it was like massively fun. Also, it was an eye-opening culinary experience because I had this Indian friend, for example, who like he loved cooking and kept giving me food. It was amazing, which I couldn't do back then. And of course, we've got a campus environment, just like Aston and Bath before us. The difference being that it's in London. Cool. We're very good at what we do. So in this sense, we're the University of the Year for graduate employment, both in 2018 and in 2019. We couldn't get it like 3 years in a row, but we're number 3 for this year. So we're very, very good at getting you guys jobs. And I'll talk a little bit about why that is. The main we also give you good jobs, because like employment rates are a good indicator of what the university can do. But something that's even better is the median graduate salary, which is for LSPU, it's the 11th best in the country, which is pretty good. It means that you guys are going to end up earning quite a lot of money, and because usually there's a lot of big business in London, obviously, so you guys are going to have a very good chance of getting a good job. And we're also #1 in London Modern Universities for graduate prospects, as you'd expect from somebody that's graduate employment of the year, all that. Now, just to give you like the first reason for why we're so good at employment is that our professors don't do as much research as other universities do necessarily, but they are professionals who work in the field. So their focus is mainly on doing jobs that are current. They're people who have either just recently stopped working and decided to dedicate themselves to teaching, or people who have worked until very recently and who are still working, but maybe they're working part-time, maybe they're taking more of an advisory role in their ex jobs. So they know exactly how companies like students to be when they start looking for people. So they're going to teach you a lot about how to answer interview questions, the skills that you're going to need to be actually on the job. And we work with all of the current equipment, all of the current software, all of the current methods. So when you go to the interview and they ask you like, okay, what do you know how to do? You're most likely going to be able to answer, like give very specific answers of, I know how to do this, I know how to do that, I know how to make like a business proposal, I know how to use your firm's particular software, I know how to do all sorts of planny, fun things that the companies are going to be looking for. Cool. Now, that being said, let's talk a little bit about location, because everybody knows about London. London's big. The big myth about London, however, is that, oh my God, London's so expensive. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But one of the reasons why people think London is expensive is because they imagine that they have to keep going back and forth on the subway all the time, which for London South Bank particularly is very not true. If you can see the green bubble over here in the middle of the map somehow, that is our campus. That's where all our buildings are. So if you're like me, I like studying at night and then waking up very late in the morning. So I'm notorious for being late if I have to do stuff very early on. But like the cool thing about London South Bank is that the accommodation spots, they're maximum 10 minutes away from any of the campus buildings. So you'll be there in 10 minutes. Like if you wake up a bit early, a bit late, there's no problem. You can just run for it and get there. So that's amazing for sleep quality. But also we are a 22-minute walk from Big Ben and the House of Parliament, and a 30-minute walk from that picture with all the skyscrapers in the top right-hand corner. Which is called London City, and that's where all the big businesses are, and those awesome skyscrapers over there. So you're basically in walking distance of everything you need. You don't really need to take the subway unless you decide to not live on campus, which is something that you can definitely do. However, there's no big advantage to not living on campus. On the contrary, we advise people to stay on campus because, first of all, we managed to create a very cheap campus experience. So it can be around 130 pounds per week, but we'll talk a little bit about that more as well. The point of this slide is just to show you that we're extremely, extremely close to all the cool things in London. We're also very close to this metro station called Elephant and Castle, which is why our mascot is this tiny elephant, which is kind of cute. And it's also the only thing that I got away with when I ran away from the office because of COVID, which is why I don't have a banner behind me and you're seeing my lovely living room. Okay, so there we go. We have the School of Applied Sciences, the School of Arts and Creative Industries, the Building and Environment and Architecture School, the School for Business, for engineering, for health, even though we don't do medicine, sorry about that, and obviously the School of Law and Social Science. So we have most things that you guys want Probably the only thing that we don't have is medicine. However, and fun fact about London South Bank, it started off like before it became a university, when like way back when, 200 years ago. It started off as a baking school, which was quite fun because it kept that course, and that's still a thing. And there's always like in one part of the campus, there's always like this nice freshly baked bread smell, and you can always buy all sorts of special cakes and stuff that these guys make and also sell. Cool. And fun fact about the people who want to know about engineering, we're also the first university in the UK that admitted the female students for engineering. So that's also like a cool fact. But you guys are also interested in rankings, so let's take a quick look at the rankings. We're also very good for rankings. 7th in the UK for accounting and finance, 29th for civil engineering, 19th for chemical engineering, 39th for design, 18th for building planning, 11th law, 25th for journalism. You guys can take a look at that, and I'm sure you've already researched our university, or you are going to research the universities when you apply. This is the Guardian from 2020, but you obviously feel free to check out other ranking systems, so you don't think that we're just picking and matching the ones that we like. Cool. Talking about accommodation, we've got the cheapest accommodation in the UK. If you see like the blue Google location spots next to the purple triangle is the campus, and the blue things are the accommodation. As I said, they're 10 minutes away walking from campus, which is awesome. The price ranges from £127 per week to 213. Most of these are en suite, so again, you have your own bathroom. For most of them, there are a few where you can share a bathroom, which is not as tragic as it sounds. I've been through that, and people end up having a system. But of course, like if you prefer having your own bathroom, which many people do, we also have that for most of the rooms that we offer. So you only share the kitchen, which is again amazing fun, especially if you like cooking, or if you make friends that like cooking. It's an amazing experience to just like share dinner with people when you're working on your stuff. Okay, so we're very close to everything. Obviously, staying in campus is not a mandatory thing. Now, this is what I'm going to end on. We're amazingly supportive with you guys. So we've got the student union, which is obviously like it's got a bunch of stuff that you guys can do. We also have dyslexia and disability support, employment career, and I'm going to take like a second here to talk a little bit about something that we call the career gym, which is full of awesome people that essentially their life mission is to help you guys get the jobs that you guys want. And the way they do that, we have a special video on that on YouTube if you want to look, if you want to Google it. But the way we do that is that we employ something called life coaches, which essentially take you from the very beginning, where you might not even know what you want to study. I did law, but I didn't want to become a lawyer, so I just did law because I thought, okay, law sounds like a good degree that's going to give me lots of options. That's what it ended up doing. But the London South Bank career counselors, what they're gonna do is like they're gonna ask you like a lot of things about what you're like. They're gonna try to steer you forward towards internships, placements. We obviously offer placements as well. So you guys can get a lot of experience and figure out what you want to do. And then they're also gonna organize like CV workshops. They're gonna organize mock interviews so that you can hone your skills for when you're actually trying to get a job. Cool. And there's a lot of support for you guys. We also offer language support if you want to learn another language, and any kind of thing that you that's going through your mind. Really, we offer that. So that being said, I think that's all the time for me, and we're going to go just quickly. Like that's my email. If you can take a quick photo of it, and yeah, I think I'm gonna call everyone back for the big Q&A session. I hope you guys have questions.
Maybe I can start because I've noticed that there was a question with regards to whether it's possible to get a part-time job whilst you're at university. And talking about studying in Aston and what's possible, I would say definitely. I started working since my second year. So first year, I had to wait for permission from the government at the time. So I could have easily got a job in my first year as well. But second year, I've done a bit of work. And then in the final year, I also did a part-time job. It was a coffee shop kind of a waiting thing. It wasn't anything that was very professional. There were many interpreting jobs at the time, I remember, but I wanted to be somewhere close to campus, something that's not very burdening in terms of kind of, nothing stressful, nothing that would keep me occupied outside of study hours. And it was only 5-minute walking distance from the campus. So that is my experience with it. Of course, we don't encourage it. We ask students to spend the time studying or get themselves involved in other social activities. But if you have to, it's definitely possible in Birmingham.
Yeah, it's same really here in Bath. Can you hear me? Am I on? Yes. Great. Yeah, one thing I'd add to that actually is that most universities, Bath included, have roles for student ambassadors. So if you wanted to, if you've never had any work experience, but you want to work with students who are looking at universities on open days or schools that are visiting us, or helping tutor younger students, maybe you've had that experience, we employ students on campus as student ambassadors. And that's a great experience because it gives you a chance to gain some really varied skills, and also we work your hours around your teaching. So it means that if you're working for the university, we will be able to be flexible about when you work, unlike maybe a cafe where you, or a shop where you have to do the same hours every day. But obviously you've got that choice as well because of Bath having so many shops and cafes for tourists. But there are really the best opportunities on universities' own campuses, and that's where I would start. We have a job link centre at Bath in our student union that posts all the opportunities, and some of those might even include working for researchers within the department. So it could even be relevant to your job, and you could actually to your course, and you could actually be paid for it. So definitely opportunities, maybe limits on the number of hours you can work according to your visa status, but honestly that's usually around 15 hours, and you probably wouldn't want to work more than that per week to fit in with your full-time studies anyway.
Yeah, it's very similar for London South Bank. We have lots of students that get part-time jobs in the city of London. The cool thing about London is that because it's theoretically a more expensive city to live in, the salaries are also a bit higher. And you can do all sorts of crazy things, like having the magnitude of London, you can work in anywhere you like, to be honest. But you can also work for the university, which is super fun. And you can use your own particular skills to find the job that you kind of want. Because, for example, I figured out that I could teach this seminar in the business school, even though I was doing law, because I ended up joining the debate society, and I was really, really good at debating. I ended up in the semifinals at the world tournament. So I was like, So the university said, you know what, why don't you teach this workshop for business students for like a couple of months? And that ended up paying quite well. And I ended up not getting a full-time, part-time job for like the entire year. So there's all sorts of insane options that you guys can explore. And our career services, our gym thing that I was talking about, is there to help you out a lot.
Should we take the question about internships for international students?
Yeah, we can. So the internships, if you are referring to internships in the placement year, yes, we do offer. I've covered some of this in my presentation, and it's similar to what Sue mentioned about the University of Bath, where you've got the placements team that basically maintain a platform where they broadcast all the available jobs in the UK, all the ones that they're aware of. And we have connections with employers who are actually encouraged to start delivering this placement scheme so that more students get a chance to do an internship. I'm not sure whether I'm covering anything else, whether I should mention anything else, colleagues.
I think it's similar for Bath. We both talked about placements earlier, and I think there's probably some confusion sometimes of what is a placement, what is an internship, what is the difference between them. So just to sort of unravel that a bit, basically, internships probably in most people's minds are an opportunity in the summer period between your years of study to work with a company, and that is something that Bath offers as well. And we have had students who've done both a full placement as part of their course and then spent their summer working for another company that we've set up for them for an internship, and then come back and another study abroad placement. So you could even do all three of those. But I think from what we've heard from all of us today is if you have the opportunity to study a degree which integrates a placement, a work placement within your course, that is going to give you probably the most valuable work experience, and that is better than many internships. It does mean your course is a little bit longer because you're going to be taking an extra year to take that placement, but your fees during that time will be lower. So fees are always reduced for placements. For the current UK EU students who might be coming in 2020, when your fees are still the same as the UK students, it's only 20% of the full fee if you do a work placement, 15% of the full fee if you do study abroad. Unfortunately, we don't know how the fees are going to look after that for EU students. And obviously, if you're looking from outside of the EU bloc, then you're looking at international fees. But even there, you're looking at a reduction in Bath, certainly of your placement fees being under 50% normally of the full fee. So if you balance that with, for us, an average salary of £25,000 during that time, and some of our accounting and finance students have been paid £50,000 during their placement year, I would go for the placement option if it were me, or I was recommending for my daughters. But internships are an add-on that you can look into as well.
Yeah. Internship-wise, we help you get internships and apply for them, and there's lots and lots of options. The great thing about being in London is that you can apply for them in non-standard times, like if, for example, like mid-November or something. And there's lots and lots of options because London's like such a huge city and it's kind of like such a huge market. And we do encourage you to experience as many as you can, but try to go, like at the beginning, you can try to go for like the shorter ones, the 1 week one or the 2 week one type, just so you guys get a feeling for what those are. And we also offer inside the university, we have something called the Clarence Center, which is sort of like a startup thing where the university offers students the opportunity to start up their own company, and if those are successful, they can stay there for a number of years after the student graduates as well. And now, to show their gratitude towards the university, those students that still have businesses over there, they offer internships and work experience to the current active students. So there's all sorts of crazy options, to be honest.
Which refer to requirements for computer science, and another question, requirements for electronic engineering. I am not sure whether these students are doing the IB diploma, so I'm just going to assume that it's the IB diploma. For electrical and electronic engineering at Aston, we typically ask for 29 points, and for computer science, we ask for 31 points.
For Poland, so I noticed the electronic and electrical engineering is coming from a student in Poland. So if you're taking the Poland certificate of maturity, you'd be looking at 85, 85, 85 in 3 extended subjects, including maths and 1 other science or technology. So if you aren't doing the IB, if you're in Poland and you're taking the national qualifications, we're looking for that level for electrical engineering. I can also have a quick look for you for mechanical engineering, but it's going to be similar. So that's not unusual for Bath, that sort of level. We asked for 36 points for all IB requirements, as I mentioned earlier, but you would have some specific requirements in terms of maths and physics for all our engineering courses. So just to look up the mechanical engineering for us, which is really highly ranked. If you're looking from Poland, we're looking at 90, 85, 85, including maths and physics, with 90 in either maths or physics, if that helps at all. I'm going to go back to the computer science one, which was also B36, but I didn't see that one on the chat, and let Andre answer on the electrical.
Okay, LSPU essentially asks if you're doing the IB, it's going to be around a 40, so maybe it's going to be a 29 or a 41, maybe a 42, depends on that exact thing that you want to study, because there's all sorts of types of engineering. I see like for the Poland example, if you're looking at the Maturita example or the Matura, we ask for around the 70-75%, depending on what you want to study. Probably computer science around 70%, with at least 2 extended level subjects at 65. Yeah. Okay.
My Polish entry criteria. So maybe if you guys want to go another question, I can.
I see that there are some questions about the English requirements, and I think like we all did similar things with like in the sense of we're accepting online tests as well. So LSPU particularly also accepts stuff like the Duolingo test. I shared the link with you guys in the chat where you can find all of the tests that LSPU accepts. And there's also information about your own countries on the website.
Yeah, same for us. If you've downloaded the information or go to the course page from our virtual experience link that was sent, if you just do the drop-down list, your country hopefully will come up on that. If it's the IB requirements, they're very high up on there, so it's very clear which higher levels we're looking for. So 36 points for every course across the board for IB, but the specific hires will be specified, and that means something like computer science, we're looking for maths in there. So I wasn't sure if you were looking for the IB. Just noticed a question about the Spanish qualifications for mechanical engineering as well, so we could go back to that one. So I'm guessing you mean the Spanish qualifications rather than the IB, in which case I'm looking that up as we speak. Obviously, we welcome your qualifications as well. And if you do go to the individual page for the courses, you will see a drop-down bar which allows you. So we're looking for a score of 9 overall in, and I'm going to really not say this right, the Título de Bachiller. So apologies for my accent in Spain, that's embarrassing. 9 overall with 9 in mathematics and physics if you're coming to us with mechanical engineering. But remember, at Bath, you're doing a really strong personal statement, and we want you to include something about the course. Mechanical engineering is normally up there in the top 2 or 3 in the country, so you've really got to focus your personal statement. I mentioned earlier it can be quite competitive, so we're probably making around 50 or 60% of our applicants for mechanical engineering an offer, so really get that personal statement strong as well. Does anyone else want to?
Yeah, so I was answering text questions, and I missed what you guys were saying. What was the question you were answering now?
About Spanish qualifications for engineering.
Okay, so in the chat I shared our country pages, so
okay.
you can check that link out. You obviously have lots of students from Spain, so you guys are more than welcome. And yeah, you can check those out individually for each individual course, because they differ from course to course. What you're going to find is what your local degree means and your grades mean in English A levels. A levels are like the final exams that British people take. And you're going to find, like, for example, an AAA might mean a 90% score in your final exam. And you're going to find that country by country on our website.
Option, I think.
Yeah, if you ask us about each individual country, I'm not sure about you guys, but I only cover certain parts of the European Union. So I don't know all of these by heart anyway, but you guys can definitely check them out on our website over there.
And another thing, Josie.
Sorry. It's a good idea to go to the course page anyway, because you've got to check if that is the right course for you. So when you go to the course page, all of those courses will be different at our 3 universities and everywhere else. So you've got to make the right choice for you, and you've got to go and look at those course details. So when you look at the course details, universities will have entry requirements on there. You look at that, and if your country isn't mentioned, which I'm sure all the countries who've asked questions today, all the students who've asked today, there will be information. But if there's any further questions that you have, there's always an admissions department that you can contact. But if you go to the course pages, look at entry requirements, put your country of origin in terms of your qualifications, you'll find what you're looking for 99% of the time.
Decide to change entry criteria every single year. So it's important to double check this in the year when you're actually applying. So we expected that there would be some 11th graders in this chat. So whatever results we tell you now, it's still very important to have a look in the year when you're applying. I saw another question about scholarships. I believe that our colleagues at SRT might have shared our links for scholarships already. So basically, again, it's a very complex answer for this question, because scholarships might vary depending on achievement, again, based on criteria. They might address income. Some universities would have scholarships available for different incomes in different countries. And they might also be subject dedicated. So for example, we have an engineering, women in engineering scholarship. And these would also be depending on the level you're applying for. So for undergraduate courses or postgraduate courses, can't really give a very short answer for this one. And they can vary between 500 to even full scholarship for a whole year, whole degree even. Anything else?
Yeah, it's the same with us. We have, if you click the handout tab next to the chat tab, you're going to see a document called LSBU International Costs document. That's got information about costs in London, but also about scholarships. So you're going to see some of the things there. It doesn't cover each individual country, which would be a necessity, but because they do depend on where you're from. For example, right now, we don't have scholarships for European Union students because you guys can still access the student loan. But when if the student loan stops being available, then that's when scholarships are going to kick in for European Union students as well. So stay tuned.
Yeah, not much to add here in terms of scholarships. It is something that does change every year. I would say probably the most generous scholarships at Bath are between £5,000 and £8,000 per year. So, but they are fairly competitive awards to get. So I think you have to consider how you can fund the majority of your course initially, and then we will always identify you after you've applied for any scholarships that you are eligible for. So you can do the the overview reading in terms of what might be available to you, but you can't necessarily plan, unfortunately, on the assumption that you will receive a scholarship unless that is very clear from that criteria. And I think that's probably the same for all of us. So if you're doing the planning and you're thinking of working part-time, we've talked about that. If you get some scholarship on top of that, fantastic. And we will make sure you don't miss out by emailing you as soon as you've made an offer and made it firm with us, that you know which awards you can apply for.
Are you doing medicine in South Bank?
No. Yeah, we're doing other things that can.
I'm gonna try and be quick, and I'll try to also offer some overall information about other courses as well. So Shajit is asking whether we accept IB students on the medicine. We do. The score that we normally ask for is 35 points, and you need to have chemistry and biology at higher level at 6. And he's asking whether we normally have a test or an interview. Yes, there is an interview stage. And this is the case also with optometry, pharmacy courses. Colleagues can also add for their universities. An interview stage includes mini interviews. So this is a whole day where you need to spend on campus and interact with different people in different scenarios so that we can test different sorts of skills. And then you've also asked whether there is any work experience, job shadowing opportunities. Yes, there are, even from your first year. And then as you progress into the course, it's a 5-year course. We can accept you straight with the IB diploma. You don't need to do a pre-med course or anything. And throughout the course, these work opportunities increase in length. So I hope I've answered all of the questions, but if there are any more about medicine separately, I can answer that. It's about cost of living. One of the bubbles that you saw on one of my screens with the numbers, £1,000. This is the cost of living that you can expect students would have for a month in Birmingham. So that would include the accommodation and all sorts of pocket money that you would need for entertainment, books, and food.
I love talking about that because the really fun thing about London South Bank is that it's way cheaper than people expect it to be, just because you don't have to take the subway everywhere because you're in the middle of London, and there's really like no need for that. It ends up costing you, because accommodations end up being around 500, 550 pounds per month, depending on this is on average. I'm not giving you like the lowest of the low. Okay, so on average it's 500, 550 pounds for that, and around another 200 something for your own like food and drinks and going out and having fun and stuff like that. So as long as you have like a decent student budget, then you should be fine. But also part-time jobs, like, and this is sort of a personal example. My cousin, when she was studying in London, she got a part-time job selling ski equipment for 20 hours a week, and that ended up paying her about 850 pounds per month, which covered her accommodation and her going out and partying phase.
And for Bath, we would say probably about £8,000 to £10,000 a year to live on. So the difference with a city like Bath, perhaps from a larger city, is that when you live in your first year, obviously like most universities, you have the campus accommodation, but when you go into the private rented accommodation that you will need to find in your second or third year, the rents are actually often a little bit cheaper. So when you're in a hall of residence, you have your own Wi-Fi and bills and so on included. You might even have an ensuite room. The typical student house in Bath is maybe about 15 minutes away on the student bus from the campus, because we're such a small city. And if you're sharing with 4 or 5 of you, you can actually get your bills in under that. So it's a bit of a broad figure. I mentioned earlier, if you have an ensuite room in your first year, that's going to cost you a lot. Like I say, if you move out into the lovely city of Bath, you're probably not going to be able to live on the famous Georgian Royal Crescent. I don't live there. None of us are going to be able to afford those, but there's a lovely student area where the student houses are all very affordable. So I would say, my student ambassadors will probably say less than 8,000, but I think it's responsible to maybe budget for £8,000 to £10,000 per year, which will cover all your rent, all your living costs, all your travel, everything else you need other than your fees.
For IB students, for psychology in particular, I can say that for Aston, for any of the courses, with English, we can accept even standard level as long as it's a 5 and above. And mathematics, for the majority of the courses, we still accept standard level at 5. For psychology in particular, I would need to check, but I can leave my colleagues to answer for themselves and then.
Sure. So just in terms of psychology, because psychology is one of our top courses, I will post the link for you because we have very specific requirements there. But for most courses, we only require a 3 to meet in either English to meet your English language requirements. The difference for psychology for us, Anna, is that we would be looking at a level of English that is suitable for the psychology course, so we ask for higher levels for those. So if I just pass you over to Andre, what I'll do is I'll post the levels for you in the chat.
Okay, so for psychology, what we do is that we don't really differentiate between English and math, and we don't require you to take math at the highest level. We ask it at something called the GCSE level, which is basically like year 10. So as long as you've done math and passed math until you were about 16, you're eligible to apply for psychology and have a good chance to get in, because mathematics is not something that we essentially make a decision on. English, obviously, as long as you get your IELTS, it's fine. Your IELTS or equivalent.
And just to mention, for psychology, we don't require maths at high level. So it's just a very basic standard level 5. Somebody is asking me about computer science at Aston and what would be the requirements. I'm not sure which country that is. If it's the IB diploma, we normally ask for 31 points, and that would have to include 3 subjects at higher level at 5, grade 5, all of them. It doesn't have to be mathematics or English, but as long as all of them are 5, it's good.
Can I just answer? There's a question about the IB math syllabus, how it's changed and which we prefer, one over the other, and we really don't mind either. We do have specific requirements for the new maths in analysis for subjects like engineering and science-based courses where maths is a requirement. For economics, we don't mind whether it's applied or analysis, but for psychology, it's absolutely fine either way. We're looking at the overall IB.
Here, whether it's possible to still apply for a start in 2020, September 2020. At Aston, it is possible. If any of the colleagues would like to add anything, they can. We don't do a January intake for undergraduate courses, so the only time that you can join us would have to be September intake.
It's course by course for us. It will say on the course pages whether the course is still open, whether it's still open just for international students, whether it's still open for international students and EU and home students, because there are different rules in terms of the number control for those. So that's why you'll see a slight difference there. So if you're counted as an international fee-paying student, most of our courses are still open. If you are currently an EU student and want to come to us while we're still charging you the lower level fees, you need to look specifically course by course, and you may find that some of our top courses are already closed. So it is a question of looking course by course, I'm afraid, and getting in your application as quickly as possible if it's still open, because they probably will be closing quite soon.
Yeah, definitely. If you haven't applied already and you can, and you're from the European Union, definitely apply as quick as possible, so you can take advantage of the lower fees and the amazing funding. However, yes, wherever you are from, you can still apply to London South Bank. So for basically everything. There is a tiny chance that the course might be filled up entirely, but you can definitely give it a shot.
Hi, this is Svetlina again from the pilot's cabin. I do see that we have a lot of specific questions, and I thank everyone for participating. Those that are really course and university specific would probably be a good idea to schedule an interview with the presenters today, so that we can slowly go to the end of today's webinar. Is there any questions that we still haven't covered from the generic ones? Sue, Chrissy, Andrei? I believe we covered a lot. You've been so awesome. It's such a nice start of the week. So thank you so much for your time. And to our audience today from all over the world, I saw a lot of participants. participation from Poland, from India, from Portugal, Spain, and so many more countries. Thank you for joining. Make sure to check your email tomorrow for an update from the 3 universities. Make sure you clicked on the poll that you're happy to receive information from them. Otherwise, you will receive a video recording of today's webinar, and you will get Sue, Chrissy, and Andrei's contact details. If there's no more questions that are to the 3 of you, I will wrap today's session with another short video of why UK is a great destination. We hope to see you there very soon, and enjoy the rest of your day and week. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Good luck.
Bye. Thank you.